We begin tonight with breaking news out of Dayton. We want to give you a live look right now. Crews still on the scene of a vacant home fire on Fairview Avenue. Crews were just able to put out those flames. They tell us the fire started in the front of the home. You can see firefighters standing there looking around, making sure things are safe. They say this is now the second time they have been to this home in the last month. Right now, we're working to learn exactly what caused that fire or if anyone was hurt. Of course, when we do, we will update you on air and online at Dayton247now.com. Our other breaking news story right now, we now know tonight the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, has been indicted on criminal charges. That indictment will remain sealed until tomorrow. Now, Adams has faced growing trouble over the past year, facing countless subpoenas over his overseas travel and potential connections to foreign governments. Adams, however, releasing a statement saying in part, quote, "If I am charged, I am innocent, and I will fight this with every ounce of strength in my spirit." And we continue to follow the migrant influx coverage tonight with the announcement of a request for federal funds. Congressman Mike Turner, along with 5 other Ohio congressmen, sending letters asking for federal help in Springfield. Jenny Bork now joining us live in studio right now. And Jenny, before we get into the details of the request, can you actually walk us through what has been going on?
Yeah, Elise, since hitting the national spotlight, we now know the strain on the city resources in the city of Springfield has been going on for years. But tonight, I wanted to know how long Congressman Turner knew about the issue before asking for help. According to Congressman Mike Turner's office, he's been working on the issue since Clark County was added to Ohio's 10th congressional district back in 2023. In fact, Turner's office references a time in October of 2023 when Turner met with Springfield's Immigration Accountability Response Team to find out how federal resources could help support the growing population in the city. In a statement sent to me tonight, he goes on to say, quote, "We have made meetings and efforts to get answers and bring relief to the community public more recently," end quote. As recent as in February of this year, Turner made a move sending a letter to the Secretary of Homeland Security demanding information case by case on the migrants who settled in Springfield under the Haitian parole program over the past 4 years. In April, Turner brought leaders of Springfield to Washington to meet with the Department of Labor and Homeland Security to talk about impacts of the migrant influx and ask for help. 2 months later, in June, Turner brought things to the House floor.
You cannot find a city in this country that would be able to sufficiently handle this kind of surge. The city of Springfield is strained with infrastructure, housing, and schools all pushed to the limit.
Last month, Turner met with officials from Springfield and physicians to discuss public health concerns. Meanwhile, Governor Mike DeWine stepped in more aggressively just 2 weeks ago, announcing $2.5 million was being sent to Springfield from the state to help with health care, also saying the federal government wasn't doing enough. Turner then spoke to CNN's Jake Tapper about Springfield just last week.
This is a community that had 5,000 available housing units. This is a strain on housing, strain on hospitals, strain on the schools. The mayor and I, we came here, we went around asking federal agencies for assistance. Still no assistance.
On Tuesday, letters were sent to the U.S. Attorney General, the Department of Health and Human Services Secretary, and the Department of Education Secretary asking for emergency funding to help Springfield in areas being impacted like healthcare and education. Turner's office tells me no set amount was requested so that Springfield officials have flexibility to assess what the financial needs truly are. Back to you.
Tonight, we're peeling back the layers of the charges filed by a Haitian organization against former President Donald Trump and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. Ronnie Dunnigan examining the next steps in the process and if the pair will ever see a day in court behind the filing.
Okay, let's get to the basics first. This case has a long way to go before anyone would actually stand in front of a judge. This case in particular needs to be reviewed by the Springfield City Attorney, the Clark County Prosecutor, and the Springfield Law Director. That trio will decide if there are even any merits to this case. State law requires a hearing to take place before the affidavit can move forward. At this point, no hearings have been scheduled. The head of the Haitian Bridge Alliance brought charges on behalf of the organization in Clark County Municipal Court. The nonprofit is asking the court to affirm there is probable cause that former President Trump and Senator Vance committed crimes and to issue arrest warrants for both men. The charges include disrupting public service, making false alarms, and harassment. They come after former President Donald Trump and his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, spread unproven claims that Haitian immigrants in Springfield were eating pets. Over the past few weeks, the FBI has investigated instances of threats and intimidations of Haitians in Springfield. Weaver doesn't believe the charges have much basis and the case won't go far.
I've seen cases where the prosecutor who works for the government refuses to take it to the court because it's so specious, because it's so baseless. That could happen here, I suppose.
Governor Mike DeWine has indicated the 15,000 to 20,000 Haitian immigrants who've arrived in Springfield over the past several years were in many cases recruited for local jobs. Most have also been granted temporary protected status to be in the U.S. legally.
That was Rodney Dunnigan reporting. Now, of course, we've been keeping you up to date on air and online. You can find all our coverage right now at Dayton247now.com. We're continuing coverage of the rail disaster west of Cincinnati tonight, and as crews continue to monitor the water quality in the area, they're also sharing some reassuring information. The waterworks superintendent for Cleves says he's confident their water system, including their wells, were not affected by the leak. Morella Porter also spoke to leaders who oversee the Ohio River about drinking water.
At this point are comfortable in saying that they do not believe the drinking water supply was affected by this leak. Now take a look. Orsenko oversees the water quality in the Ohio River and works with drinking water utilities on the Ohio River. While they are testing and keeping a close eye on the water out of precaution, I'm told the risk is very low, especially because this happened downstream from the area's drinking water intakes.
It's not anticipated to reach the Ohio River, and even if it did, where the Great Miami River feeds into the Ohio River, it's roughly 25 miles downstream from the water intakes for the North Dakota Water District and the Greater Cincinnati Waterworks.
Yeah, and I also spoke to an expert who says that the chemical can't dissolve, and that means if it were to get in the water, it would just float on top and then evaporate. Take a listen.
All of it's going to be back in the atmosphere or into microbes, into bacteria in a matter of hours. And once it's in the atmosphere, you know, the winds will carry it. It'll be spread around the globe. It's not a wonderful thing to have in the atmosphere, but it's going to be at very, very low concentrations.
Yeah, and he says that also goes for the soil. Anything that may have touched the ground will also evaporate very quickly.
We now know tonight a federal judge approved a $600 million settlement for locals affected by last year's East Palestine train derailment. Now, the judge gave that final approval today for everyone living within 20 miles of the incident to start receiving payments if they filed. Anyone living within 2 miles of the derailment can get up to $70,000 for household property damages and up to $25,000 for personal health problems.
Well, much quieter today compared to how we were yesterday. Active weather, storms, and even a tornado confirmed in Preble County, about 2 miles east of Eaton. We saw an EF0 tornado with winds of 65 miles per hour. The path of this was about 1.45 miles. Either way, it was certainly a soggy one yesterday, a stormy one yesterday too. So a little break today. Rain chances start to go up a bit later into the day tomorrow and especially on Friday due to Hurricane Helene. So I'm going to talk about that. But until then, we have this boundary just off to the east of us that's keeping clouds as well as a spot shower around 60s across the area currently. But heading into the day tomorrow, mostly cloudy, small chance for a shower will be in the upper 70s. Coming up, I'll track those rain chances from Helene.
Business owners across the Miami Valley now have the opportunity to get some help. And it's all thanks to the Greater West Dayton Incubator. Kasha Hancock caught up with that organization. So, Kasha, how do they say this actually benefits the businesses?
Elise, they tell me that this program is meant to help under-resourced and underrepresented businesses to get the opportunities they need to help their business grow. Now, I also caught up with the owner of Copy and Print in Trotwood, and she tells me she's extremely grateful for what those funds did for her business. Cheryl Carter's store sits in Highland Plaza in Trotwood. Carter started her business when she realized Office Depot in Trotwood would be moving to Miller Lane, but she knew printing and copying services would still be needed.
I wanted to get a larger sign because my customers were saying that they didn't notice my sign, so I wanted to get a larger sign as well as a desktop computer for the business, and that loan afforded me to get those two things.
Carter applied for a microloan in a previous cycle of $3,000, saying she's extremely grateful not only for the money, but for more.
I think it's a great opportunity, and another reason I wanted to get it is to help build my credit for the business. When you start a business, I'm sure many people don't know this, but you have to use your own personal credit to get different things.
Director of the Greater West Dayton Incubator, Whitney Barkley, says it's because of business owners like Carter that keeps them motivated to make an impact.
We've provided over $80,000 in microloans, allows the businesses to achieve sustainability. Many of the people who apply are already in business, they're already going, they're making money, but they just need a little bit of a nudge or an extra push to take their business to the next level.
Barkley encourages more business owners to apply. She says it just may be what they need to succeed.
And essentially, a business owner can apply for anywhere between $500 and $15,000. So this
Barkley also tells me you don't have to be a West Dayton business owner to submit an application. All are welcome to submit an application, and if you're interested in doing so, the deadline is October 18th. You can visit our website at Dayton247now.com for more information. Back to you.
Hurricane Helene strengthening as it makes its way to Florida. What forecasters are now predicting and the urging message from Florida's governor.
And I'll be tracking the impacts of Hurricane Helene right here in the Miami Valley. We have more rain on the way. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 Now.
Dayton 24/7 Now is sponsored by
A live look right now here behind me at the radar where Hurricane Helene is now gaining strength as it barrels towards Florida tonight. Forecasters say Helene could even grow into a Category 4 hurricane by the time it makes landfall in the Big Bend region late tomorrow. The National Hurricane Center is warning of damaging winds and life-threatening storm surges as high as 20 feet. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is urging residents to prepare now and heed the advice and recommendations of local officials.
Can't control what path the storm, we can't control how severe it is, but you can control what you do throughout the balance of today into tomorrow morning. So do things that are going to put you in the best possible situation to come out of this safely for you and your family.
Thousands of Floridians have already evacuated, and Ohio Task Force 1 taking to Facebook tonight to announce they have arrived in Orlando ahead of the hurricane. The team was deployed to help with search and rescue efforts if needed. We, of course, will continue to follow their operation and bring you updates as we get them. A very quiet evening, though, here in the Miami Valley. A nice look from our Eco Plumber Skycam over the Beaver Creek area tonight, Natalie, but we could be seeing some of that storm system.
That's exactly right. By later this week, Friday especially, we will be dealing with the impacts of Hurricane Helene, which is right now still a Category 1 hurricane. So latest update just came in, still has winds of 85 miles per hour, some gusts up to 105 miles per hour. Notice it's strengthening. So now it's expected to strengthen to a Category 2 hurricane, and then right before making landfall, expected to rapidly strengthen then into a Category 4 storm with winds of 130 miles per hour. So significant impacts basically right along the Big Bend of Florida is where it's expected to make landfall. But we will be expecting some impacts here in the Miami Valley, including rain, as well as some pretty strong winds. It's going to be a windy one for our Friday, so dealing with rain during the day on Friday. And then as this low pressure hangs out over our region, we'll continue with those rain chances for the weekend as well. So this is a look at tomorrow. Cloud cover will be with us. We'll be tracking a shower or two during the day. Most of the day will be dry, but can't rule out a spot shower. Temperatures will be in the 70s. As early as tomorrow night, we could start to see some rain make its way in from Helene, with the heaviest rain expected during the day on Friday, especially Friday evening. Heaviest totals will be further to the south, but overall expect widespread rain during our Friday afternoon and evening. Things start to taper off on Friday night, but more rain expected during the day on Saturday. Scattered showers even into our Sunday. We could be dealing with some more showers. So rainfall totals an additional inch or so on top of what we've already seen, mainly for the south. Lesser totals as you move further northward. Along with that, we are also dealing with some very strong winds. So notice some gusty winds, potentially wind gusts up to 40, maybe 45 miles per hour during the day on Friday due to the remnants of Helene. I'll have a look at our 7-day coming up.
Well, we've all seen pineapple on pizza, right? Nothing new. But what about bacon, mac and cheese, or even Cincinnati chili? Find out where you can go and try out both and a whole lot more after the break. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Take Dayton 24/7 Now News with
Today, reporter Lydia Bice, Good Day Dayton host Tage Joshi, and one of our photojournalists, Mickey Staver, were all in Brookville for Career Day. And of course, they had a blast with the kiddos, grades preschool all the way to 6th grade. God bless them for that. We're explaining what it's like to interview someone and how the camera works. They also had a lot of fun checking out our weather vehicle and asking some questions about how we predict the weather.
Okay, ready? There you guys are. And that's me and you guys. Or we'd see all the snow coming down. And then this one is behind us.
But they weren't the only ones